Hey guys, it's Connor, and this is my review for the newly released trailer for Man of Steel.
In time, you will help them accomplish wonders.
So on Tuesday night, Warner Brothers released a new trailer for the upcoming film Man of Steel, and already off the bat, after watching it numerous times, I really am excited for this film. Not to say I wasn't excited watching the other trailers before this, but this just really amps up my excitement. Mostly because compared to the last two trailers, this trailer features much more action and adventure. A lot more money shots, so to speak. Not to say that the other two trailers weren't enjoyable, but even though a lot of people liked the two other trailers, there was a general consensus that the trailers were very somber, very serious, and some even going so far as to call the other two trailers dark and gritty. Now, I think there is a fine line between having a serious film and having a dark and gritty film. You can have a serious film and not have it be dark and gritty. There's a fine line between a dark and gritty film and a serious film. Again, it's a fine line, but there is a line between the two. And I don't think it's fair to say that that Warner Brothers, Christopher Nolan, Zack Snyder, it's not fair to say that they are making a dark Superman film. They're simply taking the Superman mythos and they're just making it a more serious film. They're trying to make this character more believable to today's audiences. And back to the trailer. Overall, I am incredibly, insanely pleased with it. While I did like the previous two trailers, I have kept hoping in the past few months since the last trailer was released for more money shots, more action. Not so much for me, but just for the general crowd, the general people, because at the end of the day, action really does sell a summer film, and if you want a film to do well at the box office, you really got to sell that action part of the film, and so I'm glad the last minute of the trailer is pure action. Overall, I really, really enjoy the trailer. I'm glad that it's over, should I say, 3 minutes long, and it really doesn't feel like it. It goes by decently fast. It's well edited, well paced. I like how it's chronological. It starts on Krypton, then we follow Clark landing on Earth and him growing up. Then we follow Clark donning the suit and fighting Zod, and it's a great trailer. And I'm glad that we finally have, at the end of the trailer, a little moment between Lois and Superman. We see a bit more of Henry's acting, and not just that "my father believed" line that we've heard over and over again in numerous trailers. And speaking of that interrogation scene, I'm finally glad that we have a scene of Amy Adams as Lois Lane. That's been one of my complaints for the past two trailers, that we really haven't seen Lois Lane, and I love the character, and I think Amy Adams being casted as Lois Lane is a fantastic, brilliant casting choice. I know some fans and individuals were displeased that she wasn't going to dye her hair, but again, this is a different interpretation of the story and Superman's mythos. And honestly, I always have felt that Lois should have had red hair, kinda. It matched her fiery personality. I have to say how the trailer opens up with just Jor-El overlooking this massive destructive war on Krypton, was a brilliant shot. Explosions going off in the background. You see the mountainous terrain. You see alien ships. It was a breathtaking shot, and kudos to Hans Zimmer. And before I continue on talking about the trailer, I just have to say that it's basically been confirmed that the music that was featured in this new trailer is the new Superman theme. Is it the main theme? I'm not sure, but it sure as hell sounds like it. One of the people who worked on the score has tweeted numerous times on Twitter that the score of the film has a lot of drums in it, and it's obvious that the score that was featured in the new trailer has massive drumming sections in it. I'm pleased with it. I think it's uplifting. I think it's heroic. It exudes this majestic vibe. Will it be as iconic as John Williams? Most likely not, but for the purpose of the film, Zimmer's new score, I think, will do just fine. Anyway, back to the trailer. Speaking of finally us getting action shots, we also, as an audience member, finally got some good little snippets of General Zod, the main villain in this film, played by Michael Shannon, and his line when he screams, "I will find him." I got chills watching it the first time. I have no doubt in my mind that this man, this great actor, is going to have no problem portraying this villainous general from planet Krypton. I think he's going to completely own it, and I also think Russell Crowe was a brilliant cast. I know I'm sounding redundant, but I have to say, from an unbiased point of view, this has to be one of my favorite casting for a superhero film. This has to be one of my favorite casts for a superhero film. You have Diane Lane, Amy Adams, Russell Crowe, Michael Shannon. I'm forgetting so many people. You have Christopher Maloney. You have newcomer Henry Cavill, who I really hope this jumpstarts his career, because he's had a very unlucky start in Hollywood. He was maybe going to get the role of Superman back in 2006, but it went to Brandon Routh. He was up for the role of Batman, up for the role of James Bond. He was up for the role of Edward in Twilight. So I'm really glad this is his film that he gets to prove himself, and I hope it jumpstarts his career, because I think as an actor, he really hasn't been able to prove himself yet. He's been in a lot of mediocre or so-so movies. When I watched Immortals, I was thinking to myself, this guy could play Superman before he was even casted. Henry just has that chiseled look, and he just looks like Superman. He looks like Superman straight from the comic book pages. And so Henry already has the look down. It's just a matter of will he blow us all away with his acting, even though, in my opinion, it's not that necessarily hard to portray Superman. But maybe David Goyer in his screenplay is going to give Henry much more to play with than Christopher Reeve had to play with. But anyway, the trailer was fantastic. I am insanely pleased. I loved all the visuals. I'm not the biggest Zack Snyder fan, but you can't deny that he's a master at visuals. And I'm glad Christopher Nolan is involved to, keep Zack on the right path, keep him, focused, keep Zack from creating a visual just for the sake of creating a visual. It looks like this will be a superhero film that is crazy, explosions everywhere. It's going to have a lot of action, but at the same time, it's going to be a superhero film with a lot of heart and with a lot of intimacy. And I think that's needed and necessary. You have to find a balance, and at the same time, the story comes first, but you can't live without all these amazing visuals in a comic book film. So I'm insanely excited. I am over the moon happy with this new trailer. I think Warner Brothers has a potential hit on their hand. Will the film be as successful at the box office as, say, Iron Man 3? Most likely not, but if Warner Brothers plays their cards right, if they really start pushing out the promotional material like they have been the last week or so, if they start churning out posters, TV spots, they could have a decent-sized hit on their hand. I think this trailer is going to do a lot of good for the film, and I know Warner Brothers is dying for a new trilogy. From a profit standpoint, they want to make money, and if this film makes a decent amount of dough, we could get a Superman trilogy that would be the, yin to yang of Christopher Nolan's Batman trilogy. And I know Warner Brothers also hopes this film will jumpstart a Justice League movie, and then from the Justice League movie, solo films for Wonder Woman, Flash, hopefully a reboot for Green Lantern, because the one with Ryan did not do well at all. But yeah, if Warner Brothers plays their cards right, they could have a new trilogy of films, and it'll be great. And as a Superman fan, that's what I want. I want this film to do great at the box office, but at the end of the day, I just want a good Superman film. And it's been forever since we have gotten a good Superman film. Returns was disappointing, to say the least, and the last good Superman sequel was 1980's Superman 2. So this film has a lot of hope. It has more pros than cons, and I hope it is reviewed great, and I hope it does well at the box office so we can get more films. But anyway, check out the trailer. If you haven't, I'll post a link below. Yeah, 2 months, Man of Steel. Go see it.